power level and the ability to just ignore what the other person is doing is just so much of a factor that it's hard to just pick one person over the other or one deck over the other.
Well, there are 7 force of will in this, not forces.
7 force of will.
7 force of will in this matchup. All right, there we go. There's your top-down view. Owen TURTENWALD on the right, Matthew Costa on the left. There's a good shot of the GP Baltimore champion, reigning player of the year. On your right, TURTENWALD. There's Keith.
And who do we have in the booth?
I'm Sheldon Menery. You must be Rashad Miller.
I am Rashad Miller. So we're looking at these two decks. Matthew Costa, he is playing Canadian Threshold. I'm sure someone in Canada could tell us why it's called that.
I have no idea.
I think it was made by someone from Canada.
Like Gabe Sang?
Was it? Do you know?
I don't know.
Like Gabe Sang, but maybe or maybe not actually Gabe Sang. So
maybe somebody who's currently playing Magic.
Yeah. So Nimble Mongoose is the only Threshold creature who survived in the slow whittling down of Threshold threats.
Stuff. Although it does have Tarmogoyf, right?
It does have Tarmogoyf, not exactly Threshold, but and the inclusion of Delver's Secrets, which we see in play, natural inclusion.
So players in booster draft number 9. Your
right
event
off the
is
top,
waiting for you over at the gathering point, left of the
TURTENWALD Wasteland.
Once again, players in booster draft number 9. Your event is waiting for you at the gathering point.
And that was a one land keep for Matt Costa.
It's a fine keep.
And Swords for the Insectile Aberration leaves Matt Costa 0 permanents.
This is not the first 0 permanent game from one player that I've seen this weekend. I've only been in here for one other round. So I don't want to say this is a complete replay, but there has been other games where there's been one Wasteland and not a lot of spells cast on one side of the board. Well, at least this time it's switched sides. It was on the right side. Now it's the left.
See Owen TURTENWALD getting the Batter Skull. Just going to go for the beat down win right here.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to talk about Owen's deck, but now you see the two cards that are the mainstay of the deck. We have a Stoneforge Mystic, and it goes and searches out Batter Skull. So next turn, you tap your Mystic, and Batter Skull is going to come down and play. Hopefully with the Rashad token, but maybe not.
Did you give him Rashad token?
I didn't. I'm sure he has some. Let's see what we're using. We're using an upside down sleeve. That's good enough. That's good enough to get a concession. I would concede to that sleeve also.
I would remind him that
not different from this deck.
Is waiting on you over at the gathering point.
Close enough.
Left of the public event stage.
Pretty far.
Okay.
One has a really big graphic on it, and one doesn't.
All right, fair. I'll give you.
Congratulations on TURTENWALD. You win this round. This game.
Winning a lot easier when your opponent has 0 permanents.
99% of the time. Actually, I'm trying to think of the one situation where. No, can't think of it.
There's Matt Costa. Any saucy sideboard technology for Matthew Costa?
Saucy sideboard technology. Has a couple of Pyroblast. Those might come in if he wants to actually get into a Counterspell War. Looks like his choice for creature control in the sideboard comes in Submerge, which isn't going to do much good here because I don't think Owen TURTENWALD has any forest in this deck.
Right.
So it actually just becomes a 5-mana bounce spell. Not that good. There are 2 Ancient Grudge, which deals with Batter Skull or whatever equipment happens to hit the battlefield thanks to the Stoneforge Mystic.
I think his only other choice is sort of Body and Mind, right? Looks like.
They usually have the one Batter Skull, and there is one sort of Body and Mind. So those are Owen's choices in the Stoneforge gaming.
Nothing coming out of the sideboard.
No. Looks like Owen may bring in. Not a lot going on in Owen's board other than
Please meet me at the gathering point. Commander number
situational
7.
spells. We got like Disenchant, Obliterate, some extra counter
stage.
spells. I don't know if Spell Pierce is the way he wants to go. And a lot of it actually depends on, what is determined as a not so effective card in the main deck, as to how he's actually going to sideboard. But we'll see. I don't see anything in the sideboard other than actually he has 3 Path to Exile, which could come in just in case he wants to increase his ability to control Delvers and Tarmogoyfs.
And Snapcasters.
Yeah, Snapcaster usually does his...
He's done his...
Yeah, he's done his duty.
I mean, we watched Owen Turtenwald in Baltimore change to the Snapcaster beatdown plan in Game 3.
What format was that?
That was in Standard.
A 2-1 for 2, not as good.
Right.
If you're spending 2 mana for a creature, which is a lot of mana in Legacy. Right. I know that sounds crazy, but if you're spending 2 mana and it's not as good as the creatures you get for 1 mana,
yeah, it's no Kurt Ape.
It's no Kurt Ape. It's no Wild Nectar.
Right. I mean, Rich and I were talking before the first round about how there are high mana cost spells in the format. There are Progenitisuses and Blightsteel Colossi and whatnot, but spells aren't really getting paid for that are higher than... Well, we actually saw Dave Sharp spend 6 to cast his Hive Mind.
Happens.
Sometimes.
It happens.
He said just under half the time.
Well, did he spend 6? Did he have 6 land in play?
No.
Or did he spend 2 to get 3?
He spent yes.
Okay, well that's understandable.
Right. The Grim Monolith was definitely involved there.
Yeah, but if you're spending more than 4 mana for a spell, you better be winning the game.
Right.
Or the game better have gone really long, and for some reason you just drew a bunch of land, and then why do you have this spell in your deck anyway?
Right.
4 mana, that's definitely, we're stretching.
Right.
And only the natural order decks with a lot of green creatures that, help you get to 4. Those are only decks that are really gunning for 4 mana.
All right, so Owen Turtenwald up 1 game on Matthew Costa. Looks like he is not happy with the 7.
Up 1 game, but down 1 card.
He's going to go to 6.
Congrats on the W.
And the snap keep for Mr. Costa.
In a format where you kind of have a lot of low cost stuff doing a lot of things, or combining with a lot of other low cost stuff to do things. Is the mulligan to 6 more significant than it might be in, say, Standard, where there's individually the cards have sort of a heavier power to them.
Well, I think in Legacy, it's easier to win a game with 6 or 5 cards because a lot of times when you mulligan, you have to make decisions based on not getting the amount of lands that you really need.
Right.
And you only need 1 or 2 land in Legacy. So if you mulligan to 6, have 1 or 2 land, you're going to be able to cast all the spells that you draw. So it's different than from, say, Standard, where you really want to wrap up 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
And having 1 less card really, takes away from your ability to do that effectively. Orange is mulligan to 6. He has 2 Force. He has a Force of Will to Brainstorm and a Stoneforge Mystic, which effectively gets rid of the mulligan. 2 land, and he has all he needs. He also has a Jason Mind Sculptor, but that's later on. And we're probably going to get our 3rd or 4th land with the Brainstorm / Fetch land combo.
There's only one of them on the board at the moment.
Nimble Mongoose.
So it's just a Mongoose.
Hey, if it's 2, I'm calling it 2 Nimble Mongoose. Do you also, if a card name is a verb, do you also conjugate that verb?
Why are you suddenly making this about me?
I'm not. I'm curious. I'm picking your mind. This is one of the few times I've been in the booth with you, and I want to know how you say these card names.
How I conjugate verbs.
Yes, how you conjugate card name verbs.
This is the first thing you think about.
Well, they're still shuffling. We got a Mongoose in play. We got a Brainstorm that's about to happen.
All right, so So what's an example of a card with a verb in it?
Okay, let's say that I play a Tarmogoyf.
Yep.
And then you cast Flash Freeze, and it counters my Tarmogoyf. If you're going to refer to that act in the past tense, what just happened?
Oh, so I flash froze his Tarmogoyf?
Yeah, is that what you would say?
No, I would generally use the auxiliary verb and say something like, I cast Flash Freeze to counter his Tarmogoyf.
Very good. Not that I know it's right, but that's what I would do. So it's probably right. So we're still thinking about this brainstorm. We're really
Owen is probably
Dennis O'Malley.
knocked off his game by the fact that we're talking about verb conjugations over here.
Again, Dennis O'Malley. Please report to the booster draft number 7 area. Your opponent is waiting for you.
Yeah, we're still in turn 2. We're still there. There we go.
Stoneforge Mystic.
Not the one that he just dropped the brainstorm. He was careful to pick the one that was in the center of his hand. I don't know if that matters. Ooh, float 1 mana in days. Just in case.
Just in case. Well, he's got a Pyroblast in his hand.
Or just in case Owen has days of his own.
Or he can use that to brainstorm. So there's a lot of mileage out of tapping 1 land.
Well, the guesswork has been totally eliminated by, there not being any more mana burn.
Right.
There used to be a consideration. Do I want to add this mana in my pool? Am I actually going to use it? Is it worth just losing a life? And now you just always do the right thing. You just always tap your mana.
Right.
There's no reason to ever not.
No.
This is like a mana bar some play or something weird.
Oh, we certainly saw Mana Barbs as a standard card.
Yeah, definitely. It's a great sideboard card, standard. It's on the outskirts of the mana range for this format.
Right.
Yeah. 4 mana has to win you the game. In comes the Mongoose. Looks like we have 4 cards in Costa graveyard, so not yet the threatening Mongoose it can be.
There's Tarmogoyf.
Creature, instant, land. That's it. 3/4 Tarmogoyf.
Still pretty good for 2 mana.
You know what else is pretty good for 2 mana?
Stoneforge Mystic.
And you know what else is pretty good for 2 mana?
Getting that Batter Skull.
And onto the battlefield.
Yeah.
A little late on that spell snare. Matt Constant's probably kicking himself. Not that he had anything to do to that, but it's always a little frustrating when you have a blue mana open and you didn't have the spell snare. Then the 2 mana cost spell comes out that you really would love to counter. And right after it, you draw the spell snare. But you can't let that bring you down.
Got to stay up all the time. Matt Costa getting the 5th card in his graveyard.
Got to keep that graveyard count. Maybe I should make a new graphic. Maybe we need a
graveyard count.
Well, maybe I shouldn't. Forget it. I don't want it. I don't want any requests for graveyard graphics from anyone. Just keep that in mind. I'm only one man.
Oh, TURTENWALD going into the tank here a little bit on Matt Costa's Lightning Bolt.
Well, it's pretty important because Owen does not want to pay 5 for his Batter Skull.
Nobody pays 5 for Batter Skull in this format.
It could happen.
Matt Costa now, considering his response, is going to let that Force of Will resolve.
He did all he could.
Players in Legacy Winter Box number 2. Your event is ready over at the Gathering Point.
Very important.
Once again, players in Legacy Winter Box number 2. Your event is ready for you at the Gathering Point.
Looks like that Tarmogoyf is 3.
I remember when Threshold was first printed, and it added this dimension to Legacy where not only because the first decks that used a graveyard were reanimated decks and things like that, but now there were these deck types that had the ability to tempo you out.
Yep.
And while they're tempoing you out, the creatures were getting better and better,
right.
and you're falling more and more behind in tempo. And it was really just a new deck.
Mystic Enforcer.
Oh yeah, Mystic Enforcer. Werebear. Werebear was all over Legacy when it first came out. Okay, so Stoneforge is going to bring a Batterskull down. You know, I approve of the germ token because it's the color. It's the color of, you know, it's a black germ.
It's a black germ. So, is that a Snapcaster?
Yeah, he does have a Snapcaster. Maze, Tarmogoyf,
Pyroblast.
Yep, red part is still Pyroblast, and there's a Spell Snare that isn't doing much now. Tarmogoyf hits play. I think there's still instant, creature, land. It's still 3/4.
Here comes the Batterskull. Well, the germ token.
Yeah, the germ token. Conveniently equipped with the Batterskull. So double block. He's going to try to at least get rid of the germ token, but Owen can just return the Batterskull to his hand whenever he wants and pay 2 more mana and just reset the whole situation.
David DeSantis and Dijon Rosu.
That's the 7th card in Matt Costa's graveyard too.
Yeah.
So
relevant.
That double block was quite relevant.
So now the Mongoose is a 3/3 because he gets +2/2 when you have Threshold.
Attention Magic players.
Yep.
Once again, this is a reminder that we are currently accepting registration for Max Point Bronze Legacy events.
4 mana, is this a Jace?
It is
Oh no, we're going to lead with
registration
first.
is currently open. If you'd like to come play
Obviously,
in this
Jace
Legacy
is
event,
the
come
more
up to the
powerful,
Scorekeeper Station and we'll get you
I think,
registered.
of the Planeswalkers, but either one will do right now. If either one sticks, Owen's happy. And it looks like he's using one of the score counters for his token. I guess he doesn't plan on making any more.
Once again, the Max Point Bronze event.
Just so we
the
know,
Legacy event
one
is at the side event stage.
token, one soldier token, right there. Just one. Just one.
Not a big fan of the scrap of paper with the number of loyalty counters on Elspeth there. Maybe we'll signal to the judge to let's get some real counters on that.
Well, I don't know. You know, some people. I think we're in a day and age where how prepared a player is when he or she comes to a Magic tournament has lowered drastically. I know when I go to tournaments, I don't have anything. I'm looking for a pad and a pen when I get there. I don't have the bag of dice anymore. I did at one point.
I think coming prepared shows a certain amount of respect for your opponents and the culture of the game. I think it was an ancient grudge there. Taken out.
The Batterskull while he was tapped out. Good
Which,
play.
of course, is not necessarily the do-all and end-all here in the Legacy format. Force of will can happen.
Right. But we don't want any non-spell opportunities for Owen to, make that Magic grudge not good anymore.
Yeah. Like bounce it back to his hand.
Exactly. So I got a brainstorm. Owen's looking at some good cards. A Spell Snare, probably not as good anymore. He has a Caracas, which is actually pretty good with the Vanilla Click that he also has in his hand. But it looks like he's considering putting both of those cards back. Also looks like there's a Mishra's Factory and the Jace Demise Sculptor that he had for some time. So Jace and Mishra's Factory goes back.
Magic players, I have
Well, 6
standard
counters
Wood Box
on the
number
Elspeth.
9. Please come over to the gathering point.
The best token in the world comes back?
Standard Wood Box number 9.
The best token that's not a Rashad token.
Yeah. I need to make a Rashad token with just a big number 1 over it.
Yep.
Maybe you could make a token with yourself holding the giant foam number 1 finger.
I do have a foam finger from Game of the Year in Yokohama. I do. Fourth land from Matt Costa. He still has a bunch of interactive cards that really need for Owen to play a spell like this Vendilion Click. So now Matt actually has some use for his Pyroblast. There we have it. We're countering it. We're not going to destroy target creatures. So the token blocks the Tarmogoyf, I'm sure, and the Elspeth is hit by the Mongoose. So it's down to three counters. How big is the Tarmogoyf now? I think it's still just
I think it's only 3/4 because it's a land creature and instant.
Yeah, I haven't seen a sorcery. None of the planeswalkers have hit the graveyard.
I would say Jerry Thompson railbirding in the background. Don't know if that's good news that he's won real fast or bad news that he's out already.
Well, you know, these guys just love watching Magic. Just love watching Magic. I love watching Magic.
You're doing it right now.
I know. Best seat in the house.
Snapcaster Mage for Matt Costa.
Lightning Bolt, and Lightning Bolt's going to finish off the Elspeth. So now Tarmogoyf just got a little bit bigger. There's Owen. Should I play my Jace? Should I not? We're just going to play the Jace and bounce it as fast as possible. You have no response. And the bounce is -1, so Jace is at 2 counters, I believe.
I wouldn't know based on what's on top of the Jace.
Ah, boo.
It's 2.
Okay. Because I don't know how to work.
I know it. I mean, I know it's 2. It's written there. You can see it. It's written 2.
I can see it.
Costa attacking Jace with the Snapcaster
For
Mage.
Xaxes.
Love that term. Xaxes. He's going to take 3 from the Mongoose.
And Owen's like, thank God I can use the spell snare on something. Double Wasteland for value. We don't care what it is.
Oh,
Matt Costa.
Matt Costa.
Bet you wish you had one of those Wastelands. So Owen's going to take the damage this time because once that Mistress Factory is active, wow, that's an interesting sideboard decision. The Sulfuric Vortex. Wow, I guess that is pretty good against like Batterskull. If you get behind in the life game, just you can't gain life. You get a good shot of our new monitor setup. That TV is brought to you by whoever. But there's Matthew Costa. Thanks to the Sulfuric Vortex. It does 2 damage every turn, and I believe players cannot gain life. I think that's also part of what it does.
Let's double check.
Yeah, I didn't think he would bring that in. But he brought it in and he finished the job for it. So now we're tied at 1 apiece. So what does Sulfuric Vortex do, Sheldon?
At the beginning of each player's upkeep, Sulfuric Vortex deals 2 damage to that player.
Mm-hmm.
If a player would gain life, that player gains no life instead.
Oh, so it's a replacement effect instead of players can't gain life.
Correct.
That's how most cards are templated now.
Correct. The cards like Everlasting Torment.
Right.
Isn't there one of the ley lines, the red ley lines?
Yeah.
Players
And
can't
that's
gain
actually interesting because the can't clause is a bit more powerful than a replacement effect because there are multiple replacement effects on that life gain event.
The controller of the event gets to choose which replacement effect applies.
So if I had something that says when you gain a life, draw a card instead, I could choose to draw that card, and then the Sulfuric Vortex event just doesn't happen.
Correct.
But if Sulfuric Vortex had the can't clause,
then you wouldn't draw a card.
I wonder how carefully...
No card for you.
No card for me. I wonder how carefully R&D looks into how they template these things, and if they are looking at how powerful, even in this subtle change difference of power, and instead of how complicated the card becomes in replacement effect versus just can't.
Can't is one of the most powerful things in Magic, and when can't and can argue, can't wins always. I would imagine that in the light of in the light of the sets that are currently in play and cards that they're also developing for future sets, there's probably quite some detailed testing with card wordings and cards in these environments. There's just no way R&D is going to be able to test every card against every 15,000 other cards.
I mean they've come out and said it, and it's really not. That's an unrealistic expectation for R&D to make a set, test it in limited block standard, and then
eternal formats.
Yeah, eternal format and modern.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
I
think it's nice to have people in R&D who are aware of what could happen,
sure,
and just have foresight. I caught you in a yarn, so you couldn't defend yourself.
Well, you know what my first instinct was? It's to strike you.
Wait, we got magic going on.
Okay.
No, we'll save the striking for later.
Turn 1, Delver from at Costa. Let's see if it gets flipped.
It mostly always flips. Transforms.
Flips is different.
No, I thought that was a Ariel in play. They kind of look the same. It's a little confusing, but it's a Delver. That's a Delver. Delvers transform. It's like night and day. The difference.
5 lands in play here on.
That's a lot.
Turn this. It's like something less like ramp.
Yeah, I mean these guys are flooded. But Owen's working his way up to that Elspeth / Jace the Mind Sculptor combo he has in his hand. There we go. It's like he knew. Man, Brainstorm is so powerful. It actually is really.
Yeah, it's really.
And it has very little to do with transforming your Delvers.
But it's a card that requires you to play it well to be more powerful.
Yeah.
Ancestral Recall. You draw 3 cards.
Yeah, that's easy to do.
Right.
I know how this one works.
Brainstorming is really, really difficult. That's why I think
there have been articles just on how to brainstorm, pages and pages.
Great players get great value out of every little thing they do, and knowing how to brainstorm or to Jace, to use Jace's brainstorm ability, it's significant.
So Vendilion Click, I believe, is still on the stack.
I believe you to be correct.
Do I also believe this could be during combat? No, it was just in the turn. Picked up a Snapcaster Mage, Owen TURTENWALD did. There's a Wasteland, and we're just going to run Jace the Mind Sculptor out there. One has a Force of Will and a couple of blue cards to defend himself, and there goes the Spell Pierce in the sideboard for Matt Costa.
Force of Will pitching a Snapcaster.
Now, Snapcaster is a great card, and we've already seen its power level across formats, but the fact that it's blue is really, really good. I mean, it's blue cards that are useful become better cards in Legacy because of Force.
So, if you were playing this weekend, what would you have chosen to play?
I would have played lands, mostly because of deck love.
Okay.
I mean, I really like that.
Lightning Bolt from Matt Costa takes out Jace. Now, land. Here's Ponder from Matthew Costa.
He immediately put that land on the bottom. Like, we definitely don't need this one. Let's see about these other two.
You see one Mongoose in hand.
Yeah, he has a Delver also. So the Delver Ponder combo could strike again. And he's going to draw a Joe. So Matt Costa can go Delver, flip, transform them both. I was doing so well last weekend. What happened between then and now? Oh, a root canal.
Are you on narcotics of any kind right now?
No comment.
Okay. There is Delver.
Then he does it. So, and I believe that is the spell. Okay. Well, Wrath of God.
Attention Magic players.
That's a one of. That's a one of in TURTENWALD deck.
For Max Point Bronze Legacy
But now
event.
comes the Mongoose. And now there aren't a lot of cards in Owen's deck that can deal with this Mongoose.
$15 entry.
And another Spell
And you can
Pierce.
get you as many as 10 max
Spell
points.
Pierce is becoming an all-star
It is legacy,
out of Matt
and we are
Costa's deck.
still having registration.
Out of the
It will
sideboard.
be
That one
closing
blue,
in
being able to
approximately
counter
15
just
minutes.
about anything that you
Also,
really
as a
needed to.
reminder, if you are interested, we are still taking
Super
sign-ups
effective.
for our win-a-box tournaments,
Like Mental
booster
Misstep.
drafts, and commander.
That was
If you
super
are
effective
interested,
too.
please
A little
click the sign-up
too
page,
super
and
effective.
we'll get you registered.
Well, that's what we were talking about. This sort of categories of cards that are on the legacy ban list, and one of the categories I identified was cards that are just do too much for what they cost. Balance being the prime example. Mental Misstep, but another significant example.
You know, I mean, even and the cards that are available in Legacy, they do a lot for their cost too.
Right.
So Legacy is still a very powerful format.
So that Nimble Mongoose taking TURTENWALD down to 9. We saw TURTENWALD just draw Swords to Plowshares. Not particularly useful in this situation.
Wah, wah.
Wasteland goes after the Tundra.
Yep, just for value. Just as I want you to have one less land. Not that 3 land versus 4 is a big deal. So this Nimble Mongoose is going to town, and Snapcaster Mage is going to jump in the way just to... Oh, it's not going to jump in the way.
He's going to try to jump in the way.
And Matt Costa's like, yes! Thank you for casting something for 2 mana.
There it is.
And there you have it, Matt Costa. Congratulations. There he is. He looks like he just won round 6. That's his I won round 6 look. It's like, I'm a Grand Prix champion. I know how this works.